They had everything: the stars, the passion, the belief. But sometimes, football writes stories where the heroes never win. This is the story of teams that gave us everything, except a happy ending. This is the story of the greatest teams that never truly won anything. From Arsenal's golden years to the Dutch Revolution. From Bielsa's chaos to Croatia's heartbreak. This is football's most beautiful pain. Arsenal, the beauty that faded. There was a time Arsenal ruled football, not with brute force, but with elegance. Wenger's men danced on grass. Henry, Bergkamp, Pires, they didn't just score, they painted. 2004, the Invincibles. A perfect season. 0 defeats. They became immortal. But that's where the story peaked and cracked. When Arsenal left Highbury for the Emirates, everything changed. The dream of a global superclub came with a price, debt, pressure, and goodbye to their biggest stars. Henry gone. Vieira gone. Pires gone. Wenger stayed, loyal to his ideals. But the world around him didn't care about ideals anymore. Chelsea had oil. United had power. And Arsenal, they had dreams and spreadsheets. Year after year, they got close, but never close enough. 2006 Champions League final. They led Barcelona with 10 men, 18 minutes away from glory. Then heartbreak. Eto'o, Belletti, silence. And today, history repeats itself in a cruel mirror. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, young, hungry, emotional, plays the same beautiful football Wenger dreamed of. But just like before, they fall at the edge. They ended second 3 seasons in a row. Last season, they led the Premier League for 248 days and still lost. The Invincibles became the Invisibles when it mattered most. That's Arsenal. They'll make you believe again. Just to remind you that belief alone doesn't win titles. Netherlands, 1974. Before there was Tiki-Taka, before Guardiola, before Xavi or Iniesta, there was the Netherlands in 1974. Led by Johan Cruyff, they introduced the world to total football. Every player could play anywhere. Attackers defended, defenders attacked. It was chaos, but beautiful chaos. They destroyed Brazil. They humiliated Argentina. The world bowed to their style. Then came the final, West Germany. And destiny said no. A penalty from Breitner, a winner from Gerdmuller, and Cruyff's masterpiece ended with tears. They changed football forever, but didn't lift a single trophy. They taught us how to play. But history remembers only who wins. Marcelo Bielsa's leads. Fast forward to the modern era. Marcelo Bielsa, the philosopher, the madman, the teacher of Guardiola and Pochettino. When he took over Leeds United, they were broken, a sleeping giant rotting in the championship. And somehow, with a bunch of average players, he built a machine. They attacked like maniacs. They pressed like they were possessed. It wasn't football. It was poetry in chaos. He got them back to the Premier League after 16 years. Leeds fans worshipped him. Then, like every Bielsa story, it burned out. They lost control, lost form, and the club sacked him. Just like that. No loyalty, no paciencia. The man who gave him life was shown the door. And that's the tragedy of geniuses. They're always ahead of their time. But football's world is built for businessmen, not dreamers. Atlanta. Italy was never known for attacking football. Then came Atlanta, the club that decided defense was overrated. Between 2019 and 2021, they became the most entertaining team in Europe. They scored 100 goals in a season. They've bullied Juventus, humiliated AC Milan, and went toe-to-toe with PSG in the Champions League quarterfinal. But football isn't fair. 90th minute, they led PSG 1-0. 93rd minute, they lost 2-1. Their dream died in 3 minutes. They went home as heroes, but not as winners. Croatia 2018, the team with fire and tears. They weren't supposed to be there. Croatia, a nation smaller than London, made it to the World Cup final. Luka Modric, Perisic, Mandzukic, players who came from war-torn streets, playing with everything they had. They didn't just fight opponents, they fought history. They beat Argentina. They beat England. But in the final, they met France, and reality hit. 4-2. Dream over. But Croatia didn't lose that day. They won the world's respect. They proved football isn't just money, it's heart. Bayer Leverkusen, the almost champions. 2002, the word Neverkusen was born. Bayer Leverkusen were unstoppable. They led the Bundesliga. They reached the German Cup final. They reached the Champions League final. And in 3 weeks, they lost everything. To Dortmund, to Schalke, to Real Madrid. Zidane's volley sealed their fate. They had Michael Ballack, Lucio, Neuville, legends who gave everything and still lost. And today, under Xabi Alonso, the story repeats, history teasing them again. They played beautiful football, but when it mattered most, it slipped again. Leverkusen are cursed by their own greatness. England's golden generation, 2004 till now. Beckham, Lampard, Gerrard, Rooney. On paper, unbeatable. In reality, dysfunctional. Egos clashed, tactics failed, and penalty shootouts broke hearts. Golden? Yes. Winners? Never. They had everything, except a system that worked. And when it ended, it felt like the end of a dream. England's golden generation. The pride that broke itself. They were supposed to win everything. David Beckham, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Wayne Rooney, Rio Ferdinand. A lineup that looked like destiny itself. But England's problem wasn't quality, it was ego. Every club rivalry spilled into the dressing room. Gerrard and Lampard couldn't play together. Two kings fighting for one crown. Sven-Goran Eriksson had all the talent in the world and no idea how to use it. World Cup, red card for Rooney, and another penalty curse. The world called them golden. History called them wasted. Even now, England still carries that ghost. Generations come, generations go, but the shadow of what could have been never fades. When Nigeria arrived at the 1994 World Cup, the world didn't expect much. Then they saw Okocha, Finidi Yekini Kanu, and realized Africa's time had come. They played fearless football, attacking, joyful, proud. They beat Spain. They scared Italy. They made the world dance. But politics, corruption, and chaos at home tore the dream apart. By 1998, the same golden generation had lost its shine. They could have been world champions. But off the pitch, they never stood chance. Borussia Dortmund, Jurgen Klopp's Dortmund were more than a team. They were a revolution. Fast, fearless, and full of fire. They didn't have the money, but they had belief. In 2013, they reached the Champions League final against Bayern Munich. It was David versus Goliath, except David wore yellow and smiled. They fought, they pressed, they nearly won it. But then Robin, in the 89th minute, broke their hearts. That single touch ended a dream. Soon after, their stars left. Götze to Bayern, Lewandowski to Bayern, Hummels to Bayern. The giant they tried to defeat swallowed them whole. But Klopp left behind something stronger than silverware. A legacy of passion that would later conquer Europe in Liverpool red. Chile. Under Bielsa and later Sampaoli, Chile became warriors. A team built on energy, aggression, and unity. They beat Argentina twice in Copa America finals. Messi cried, Chile celebrated. But success came at a cost. Exhaustion, age, and internal fights tore them apart. They missed the 2018 World Cup. They burned bright and burned out. Juventus. They call it La Vecchia Signora, the old lady. A club soaked in history, glory, and ambition. But when it comes to Europe, Juventus are cursed. They've reached 9 Champions League finals and lost 7. 7 heartbreaks. 7 times standing inches from greatness, only to collapse. 1997, Borussia Dortmund stunned them. 1998, Real Madrid silenced them. 2003, their own countrymen, AC Milan, beat them on penalties. 2015, Messi's Barcelona destroyed their dreams. 2017, Ronaldo's Real Madrid finished them off again. It became painful poetry. No matter the generation, no matter the legend, Juventus always fell short on the biggest stage. And the irony? They were built for Europe. From Buffon to Del Piero, Pirlo to Dybala, all icons, all dreamers. In 2017, Buffon looked up at the Millennium Stadium lights after losing another final. Tears in his eyes, because even the greatest goalkeeper of all time couldn't escape the curse. Juventus don't just lose finals, they haunt them. Every year, they rebuild, they believe, and Europe says, not yet. Atlético Madrid. If football had a Shakespeare, Diego Simeone's Atlético Madrid would be his greatest tragedy. They were never meant to reach the top. They didn't have Barcelona's money or Real Madrid's superstars. They built everything from passion, blood, and sweat. And still they defied it all. La Liga Champions. Champions League finalists. The world started believing, maybe this time the underdog wins. Then came 2014. Minute 92. They led Real Madrid 1-0. History was seconds away, until Sergio Ramos rose and broke their hearts. Extra time, 4-1. Dream shattered. 2 years later, 2016, again, the same opponent, same final, same ending. Penalties this time. Cristiano Ronaldo scores the winner. Atletico fall again. Simeone's men were warriors. Griezmann, Godin, Coke, Oblak. They fought for everything, gave everything, and the world gave them nothing. They didn't lose to better football. They lost to destiny. As Roma. Roma, a club that bleeds passion. The songs of the Cava Sud echo like hymns, but glory? Glory has always stayed just out of reach. From Francesco Totti, their eternal captain, loyal to one badge his entire life, to Daniele De Rossi fighting through injuries and heartbreaks. Roma always came close, never enough. That 2018 night against Liverpool, when they almost pulled off the impossible comeback, was pure cinema. But it wasn't enough. It's never been enough. They've touched greatness. They just never held it. Belgium. They called them the golden generation. And why not? Courtois, Kompany, De Bruyne, Hazard, names that lit up every club in Europe. But on the international stage, only disappointment. World Cup 2018, even Nations League. Belgium dominated matches, but not moments. For all their beauty, their flair, their belief, history will remember them for what they didn't win. Uruguay. Once, Uruguay ruled the world. 2 World Cups, countless legends. But in modern football, they became the forgotten kings. Cavani, Suarez, Godin, warriors who played with hearts bigger than the stadiums they fought in. 2010 should have been their year. The world remembers Suarez handball, but forgets the courage of a small nation that stood tall among giants. They were never supposed to win. Yet every time they played, it felt like destiny was close, just not close enough. Sweden. Sweden, not flashy, not loud, just strong. They've come so close, so many times. 1958 runners-up, semi-finalists in 94 and 18. Zlatan gave them swagger. Larsson gave them hope, but fate gave them heartbreak. They never lacked belief, only that one golden night. Poland. In the 70s and 80s, Poland were giants in disguise. Strong, tactical, fearless. They beat Brazil once. They reached semi-finals. Then came Lewandowski, the modern legend trapped in a team that couldn't match his fire. So much talent, so little silver. That's Poland, the storm that never turned into a hurricane. Tottenham Hotspur. If football gave out trophies for almost, Tottenham would have a cabinet full of gold. The 2019 Champions League run was pure magic. Lucas Moura's hat trick against Ajax, one of football's greatest miracles. But in Madrid, silence. A final loss before it began. They play like dreamers, live like believers, and fall like poets. Tottenham are proof that sometimes the story matters more than the silverware. AS Monaco, the dream that sold itself. 2017, the year Monaco lit up Europe. A young Kylian Mbappe, still just a teenager, destroyed defenses like a veteran. They beat City. They beat Dortmund. They made the world believe again. But fairy tales in modern football come with a price tag. One by one, the stars were sold. Mbappe, Bernardo, Fabinho, Lamar. The dream was gone. Monaco didn't fail. They were dismantled. Al Nassr. A new era, a new stage. Al Nassr's rise is something football hasn't seen before. A team from Saudi Arabia suddenly on the world map. Ronaldo arrived not just as a player, but as a symbol. And yet, even with all that money, fame, and talent, the dream remains incomplete. They want global respect. They want to rewrite the rules. But until they lift something truly historic, Al Nassr remains a story in progress, a promise waiting to be fulfilled. Every one of these teams had the same story. Brilliance, belief, heartbreak. Football doesn't always reward the best. It rewards the most ruthless. But these teams, they gave us something even trophies can't give, emotion. Because football isn't just about lifting cups. It's about lifting hearts. And if that's true, then maybe these are the greatest teams of all time. If this story hit you hard, drop a like, share it with a football friend, and subscribe because the next one might just be the untold truth of your favorite team.